Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Ask Huda. I'm your host, Fuad Muhammad. Well, joining us on the show today is no other than Dr. Muhammad Salah. Assalamu alaikum, Doctor.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
We would like to take your telephone calls from the very beginning of the show, so you can call us on 00-202-38555-248 or 249. Or if you don't have the chance to call us, you can send us an email at ask@huda.tv. Doctor, we start with Sister Raunaqa from the UAE. She said when she returned back home from Hajj, everyone kept asking her to make dua. And when she asked the reason why, she said that someone told her that the first 40 days after Hajj, all your du'as are accepted. And she wants to know if this is true.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wal aqibatu lil muttaqeen wa la udwana illa ala al-zalimin. والصلاة والسلام على سيد الأولين والآخرين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. Praise be to Allah alone. We praise Him and we seek His help. Whomsoever Allah guides is the truly guided one, and whomsoever Allah leaves astray, no one can show him guidance. May the best peace and blessings be upon Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. With regards to the idea that a person who performed Hajj has 40 days after the performance of Hajj, during which his dua or her dua will be accepted, there is no such evidence to this narration. And since it is an indication or a confirmation of an acceptance of dua that has to rely on an evidence, there is no such evidence. But generally speaking, it is recommended to make dua upon completing any act of worship, upon being successful in achieving any good deed. With regards to Hajj, for instance, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informed us in the Quran, فَإِذَا قَضَيْتُم مَنَاسِكَكُمْ فَاذْكُرُوا اللَّهَ كَذِكْرِكُمْ آبَاءَكُمْ أَوْ أَشَدَّ ذِكْرًا فَمِنَ النَّاسِ مَنْ يَقُولُ رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا وَمَا لَهُ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنْ خَلَاقٍ وَمِنْهُمْ مَنْ يَقُولُ رَبَّنَا آتِنَا فِي الدُّنْيَا حَسَنَةً وَفِي الْآخِرَةِ حَسَنَةً وَقِنَا عَذَابَ النَّارِ أُولَئِكَ لَهُمْ نَصِيبٌ مِّمَّا كَسَبُوا. In the previous verses, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guided us as how to make dua upon completing the great act of worship, which is Hajj, to keep balance between asking Allah to fulfill worldly needs as well as the needs of the hereafter, which is to be saved and to enter heaven and to be protected from fire, via saying, our Lord, grant us a goodly reward in this life and a goodly reward in the hereafter, which is heaven, and protect us against the fire of hell. So generally speaking, one, upon completing any act of worship, his dua is most likely to be accepted, and it is recommended to make dua, such as upon breaking your fast, upon giving in a charity, etc., etc. But to specify and say 40 days after Hajj, what about this? There are some people whose dua even in Hajj will not be accepted. Rather, the whole Hajj will not be accepted, such as those who perform Hajj, spending in Hajj out of unlawful earning. Then Allah the Almighty, who is good and who only accepts that which is good, would not accept Hajj, and accordingly the dua. Yet it is permissible to ask righteous people and ordinary people to pray for you, especially those who are going to perform Hajj, because there are special places in which the dua is more likely to be accepted than others, such as Mecca and Al-Madinah, and on the battlefield, etc. As well as special times, such as the day of Arafah. The Prophet ﷺ said, the best dua is the day of Arafah, such as the 10th of Muharram, such as the month of Ramadan, at the time of breaking your fast, and a place and time, such as while you are prostrating yourself in the salah, أَقْرَبُ مَا يَكُونُ الْعَبْدُ مِنْ رَبِّهِ وَهُوَ سَاجِدٌ. So, it is permissible to ask others to make dua for you, but it is not right to think that there is a specific time after Hajj during which the dua has to be accepted. There is no confirmation. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. We have our first caller on the line, Sister Anne from Egypt. Assalamu alaikum, Sister. You're live on Ask with your questions, please.
Wa alaikum salam. I have two questions. One is for my daughter regarding Surah Yusuf. She wants to know that when Yusuf put the cup in his brother's bag, it was supposed to be the king's cup, If the king must have known that he had knew what Yusuf was doing, because how come Yusuf's brother never went to jail
Okay.
for being accused?
Okay.
And then my question is about, it's kind of concerning what's going on in Malaysia these days, because when I make dawah to my family, I spend a lot of time trying to explain that Allah is the same God that they're referring to, the same God of the Prophet Jesus, and it's we call him Allah. He calls himself Allah in Quran. So when I see what's going on in Malaysia, where they don't want Christians to use the name of Allah, I really feel very confused, and I don't understand what their premise is. And so I just wondered if you could go over that, Sheikh.
Sure.
Why they're having this problem with Christians calling Allah by the name that Allah calls himself.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Sister Anne there from Egypt. Brother Abdul Rauf says he has a friend who has been encouraging to pay his zakah, and he said after the friend agreed to pay the zakah, he encouraged him to pay it to channels like Huda TV and other Islamic channels. He wants to know if this is okay.
If you remember, I kept postponing the answer to this question until I consulted senior shuyukh and scholars and fatwa committees who said that making da'wah is the most important step in jihad, fi sabilillah, for the sake of Allah. So they said accordingly, supporting the da'wah means especially where the da'wah does not have revenues, does not have means of support.
Yes.
With the state, with the governments and otherwise. So in this condition, it is permissible to spend on da'wah from the zakah alms. Wallahu a'lam.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. And then Brother Muhammad from the UAE says that there's a tradition in his country where the child touches the parents' feet and to take their du'as. And he wants to know if this is acceptable. And then the sister Abdul Rahman confirmed that it is a practice from Hinduism.
There is no religion on earth that encourages and motivates and orders its followers to be dutiful to parents more than Islam. To the extent Allah the Almighty says, even if your parents are disbelievers, even if they are struggling with you in order to convert you from your faith, you still have to be dutiful to them. وَصَاحِبْهُمَا فِي الدُّنْيَا مَعْرُوفًا. So, yes, you should not comply with the teachings, with the commands of anyone as long as it contradicts the concept of obeying Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. لا طاعة لمخلوق في معصية الخالق. But even with that, parents do still have rights upon you, even if they are non-Muslims, even if they're kuffar and exerting a great effort in order to hinder you from the path of Allah, still you have to be kind and dutiful to them with regards to the worldly matters, such as kissing their hands and feet. All of that is fine, but when it comes to copying traditions of non-Muslims and non-believers, such as touching the toe or the foot for a blessing, then the Prophet ﷺ totally prohibited us from copying non-Muslims. And he said, مَنْ تَشَبَّهَ بِقَوْمٍ فَهُوَ مِنْهُمْ. Whoever resembles people, he is one of them. So we're not allowed to imitate and emulate the practices of other than Islam. Accordingly, and with the confirmation of the sister who apparently is from the Indian culture background, she confirmed this is a Hindu practice. So it has nothing to do with Islam, and it should be totally rejected because it's not prescribed nor approved in our tradition.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. And Habiba from the UAE, she says she has a family member who's not received their salary for 13 months now, and they have been patient and they've been making dua, but she wants some advices. What can they do in order to come out from this difficulty?
Ad-du'a, and increase making istighfar. Increase asking Allah the Almighty for forgiveness. Allah the Most High in the Quran confirmed that constantly asking Allah for forgiveness is one of the best means of increasing one's provision.
SubhanAllah.
Second, the verses of Surah Nuh are there and very famous. If I may quote them again quickly, that Nuh alayhi salam said to his people, فَقُلْتُ اسْتَغْفِرُوا رَبَّكُمْ. I say to them, ask your Lord for forgiveness. Indeed, He is of forgiving. And if you do, He will do the following. يُرْسِلِ السَّمَاءَ عَلَيْكُمْ مِدْرَارًا. He will send the rain in abundance. وَيُمْدِدْكُمْ بِأَمْوَالٍ وَبَنِينَ. And He will provide you with wealth and sons or children. وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ جَنَّاتٍ وَيَجْعَلْ لَكُمْ أَنْهَارًا, and He shall give you gardens and rivers. So, istighfar and constantly asking Allah for forgiveness is one of the best means of seeking provision and getting out of poverty and debt. Second, maybe some of the new viewers will be surprised to know that even at the times of hardship, spending in a charity for the sake of Allah is another one of the best means of increasing your provision. Allah the Almighty informed us in the Quran that one good deed will be rewarded as minimum for 10 times more. مَنْ جَاءَ بِالْحَسَنَةِ فَلَهُ عَشْرُ أَمْثَالِهَا. And given in a charity $1 or 1 dirham or 1 rupee or 1 pound, Allah will give you up to 700 times more. Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah the Almighty says, the example, the parable of those who give in a charity, كحبة كمثل حبة أنبتت 7 سنابل في كل سنبلة 100 حبة. So 7 acorns, each one carries 100 grains, total is 700 as a result of planting or sowing 1 grain. And وَاللَّهُ يُضَاعِفُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ. This is not the end of it. Allah gives manifold reward for whomever He wills. So the third is upholding the ties of your kinship. It is, wallahi, brothers and sisters, one of the best means of protection against calamities, expansion in one's provision, in one's place of living, in his house, and an immediate reward, an immediate recovery from hardship and calamities. So istighfar, charity, and upholding the ties of your kinship. There is another dua, of course. Allahumma inni a'udhu bika min al-hammi wal-hazan wal-ajiz wal-kasal wal-jubni wal-bukhl a'udhu bika min ghalabati ad-dayni wa qahri rijal. This dua, which the Prophet ﷺ taught to Abi Umamah, may Allah be pleased with him, is very, very helpful.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. We have Brother Salim from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live on Ask Huda.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I just want to ask the one brother, last episode he was asking regarding the Aqiqah which he gave the cow.
Okay.
Regarding the same subject, I was asked some scholars also, they are saying it's bidah.
Okay.
Because Prophet asked to...
Salim, after we take next call, inshallah, I will answer you immediately, inshallah.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Next, we have Brother Abu Zahra from Kuwait. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live on Ask Huda. Questions, please.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My question is, which is more superior between the memorizing of the Quran or reciting till, completed 30 juz in 1 month compared to the memorizing? And the second one is that we are building a mosque back in our country in Indonesia.
Okay.
Accepting donation from the people.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there is one who happen to be a gambler, and he is donating it. So I'm wondering if we are allowed to receive it, or we have to donate it to other place, or we can put it up for the toilet or so on. So please.
Okay. Jazakallah khair there, Brother Abu Zahra there from Kuwait.
I'd like to answer Salim's question with regards to the Aqiqah. He said that he's been blessed with a son.
I think so.
And he offered the Aqiqah, but not 2 sheep. Rather, he slaughtered a cow. And he intended that 2 portions of the cow for the Aqiqah and the rest for the Udhiyah.
Yes.
First of all, the Prophet ﷺ said in the sound hadith that كُلُّ مَوْلُودٍ مُرْتَهَنٌ بِعَقِيقَتِهِ. Every newborn is mortgaged to his Aqiqah. So it is best to offer the Aqiqah. It is a confirmed sunnah and prophetic and emphatic tradition if you have the means. If you don't, then once you have it, even after a while, even if a child grew up and his parents did not and he have the means, he should do it for himself or herself. 1 sheep per girl and 2 per a boy. So he said that he slaughtered a cow instead. Al-Jumhur, the vast majority of the scholars, said that even though it is named 2 sheep for a boy and 1 for a girl, if somebody slaughtered a cow or a camel instead, it is permissible because it is for the virtues and the benefit of the poor. So it is greater than the sheep. That is permissible. This is a statement of Al-Jumhur. Then they differed with regards to whether they can divide it, maybe that one has twins. Would it be okay to slaughter a cow and it's much bigger than 2 sheep or 4 sheep, and instead of slaughtering them, they differed. Al-Imam al-Shafi'i, may Allah have mercy on him, is of the view that it is permissible by analogy to al-Udhiyah. So whatever fits in al-Udhiyah fits in the case of al-Aqiqah. Al-Imam Ahmad and Al-Imam Malik are of a different opinion, but since you already did that, may Allah accept it, according to Al-Imam al-Shafi'i, it is perfectly fine and it is permissible. Wallahu a'lam.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. We have Aisha from the UAE. Assalamu alaikum, sister. You're live and ask your questions, please.
Wa alaikum salam, brother. There are 2 questions for me.
Okay.
One question for my son. He's in grade 12, and he's going for his tuitions, and he misses his prayers, Asr and Maghrib. So he doesn't get time to say his prayers, and his tuition house is full of students. So when he comes back from tuition, he combines his prayer Asr and Maghrib in Isha. First he says his prayers, and then he finishes his Isha.
Okay.
And please let me know whether it's correct or wrong. And the next.
How old is your son?
He's 17 years old.
Okay. You said you're living in Emirates?
Sorry?
You're living in Emirates, right?
Yeah.
Is it an international school?
Yeah, it's a Delhi private school. It's an Indian school. And the place where he goes for tuition is non-Muslim's house. And he doesn't feel comfortable to say his prayers there. And moreover, the house is very jam-packed with the students. He says, I don't get place to say my prayers.
Okay.
And
Sister Aisha, since the question is related to the prayer,
yeah,
I'm obliged to answer it right now. Allah the Almighty said in the Quran, when He ordained the prayers, He said, إِنَّ الصَّلَاةَ كَانَتْ عَلَى الْمُؤْمِنِينَ كِتَابًا مَوْقُوتًا. So there are 2 commands in this order. It's ordained and ordained to be offered on fixed times. It is not permissible to postpone the Asr prayer until sunset and then combine Asr and Maghrib, or Asr, Maghrib and Isha. In addition to combining the prayers which may be combined, such as Dhuhr and Asr, at the time of either one of them, Maghrib and Isha at the time of either one of them, is only permissible during journey and during severe conditions such as heavy rain or whatever, if you're resident. So it is not permissible to combine the prayer in your son's condition. And you have to visit with the administration of the school. I believe you're living in a Muslim country and you have a great number of parents and students affiliated with the school, or Muslim students who are enrolled in the school, that you have to spare time for them to pray at time in the school or during the break, or else. Meaning, even if it reaches to pulling my kids out of the school and put them in another school. If we Muslims in the States and in Europe manage to do that in totally non-Islamic schools, local and public schools, where they allow the prayer, and in many cases they give a room for Friday prayer, and one of the students would deliver the khutbah and so on, then, and because there is no other way around it. You cannot say because it's a school and education, so this is an expiation or an exemption. No. So it is not valid, and accordingly, you should ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for forgiveness. I said, how old is he? He said he's 17, so he is above the puberty age. He or she is totally responsible for the prayers since they reach the puberty age. They are not trainees anymore. So you must make sure, you and the father and the son, and have a parents' council meeting and say that the Sheikh said it is not permissible to postpone the prayer. I know that with the transportation problem, and it takes plenty of time to reach home after the working hours or after school, and especially if you're living in Dubai and going somewhere else. So make sure that you will pray before leaving the school. And also Dhuhr should be prayed on time at the school. And Allah knows best.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. We have Brother Sayyid from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, brother. Your life and ask other questions, please.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I have a question regarding the deed. There is one hadith in Sahih Bukhari narrated by Abdullah.
Would you please raise your voice a little bit?
Okay. There is one hadith narrated by Abdullah in Sahih Bukhari. So the Prophet ﷺ says, when at the time of the baby is born, the angel comes and Allah writes 4 things. One is the provision, age, and their abode in the hereafter. Another hadith narrated by Sahal bin Sa'd in Bukhari It's the big hadith. The last part of it is the Prophet says, and the person does the evil deeds who is close to the hell by one arm, but he dies by doing good deeds and he goes to the Jannah. So the reward of the deeds are decided by the last action.
Okay.
So my question is,
Okay,
Allah
I may have gotten
changes
the last
time to
hadith.
time.
I may have gotten the last hadith, but I'm not sure about the first one.
Okay,
The narrator is Abdullah ibn whom?
Okay, it is Sahil bin Sa'ad.
What is the full name of the narrator?
Okay, let me tell you that. Okay, the narrator is Sahil bin Sa'ad. There was a man who fought most bravely.
Okay,
on
I
behalf
got
of
it.
the faith. You
Okay.
got it?
Okay,
In Ghazwa.
I guess I got the two hadith. Okay, Jazakallah
Okay.
khair.
So my question is, the deeds, once it is written, so once we make dua, the deeds are being changed or it is the constant?
I'll answer you inshallah. I got your question. Okay.
Okay. Next we have Sister Reem from Oman. Assalamu alaikum. Sister, you're live and ask her their questions, please.
Okay. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Sheikh Salah, alhamdulillah, you're doing very good job.
Jazakallah khair.
for that. And my daughter, Reem, she wants to ask a question.
Okay.
Assalamualaikum, uncle.
Wa
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Peter.
My name is Reema. I am 7 years old. I want to ask, why should we not listen to music?
Okay.
Okay.
Inshallah, we'll answer you.
Okay. Jazakallah khair, Reem. It's so good to have the small ones calling in there. Habiba's question, her second question, is that the person, a woman in her local community, she has to pray between the azan and the iqamah, or she has to wait on the iqamah?
For which prayer she
For
said?
any prayer.
Any prayer?
Mhm.
Okay, what's needed is once the time enters, even if you do not hear the adhan, it is permissible to pray.
Mm.
So if you hear the adhan while you are at home, for a lady, you can just go ahead and pray. You don't have to wait until you hear the iqamah, because you're not buying with the jama'ah in the masjid or any masjid.
Yes.
It is obviously recommended to offer the emphatic sunan. In the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever observes regularly praying 12 rak'ahs, the 4 rak'ahs before dhuhr, 2 after dhuhr, 2 after maghrib, 2 after isha, and the 2 before fajr, Allah the Almighty will build a house for him in paradise. So if there is a sunnah, whether emphatic or non-emphatic, confirmed or non-confirmed, it is recommended to pray it, then pray the fard, and you don't have to wait for the iqamah, because you're not buying with the iqamah in any masjid.
Okay, then we have Fawzia from Qatar. She says, what's the ruling of using black henna?
In fact, there is a hadith that's narrated by Jabir ibn Abdullah, may Allah be pleased with him. And the hadith is some hadith collected by Imam Muslim, in which he narrated that when the Prophet ﷺ entered Mecca during the conquest of Mecca, they brought him Abu Quhafa, Abu Bakr's father, and his hair and beard were totally grey. So Nabi ﷺ said, take him and change the grey color, and make sure to avoid as-sawad. So avoiding the black dye or henna is a must, and wearing black henna is prohibited, whether for men or women. But using the regular color is permissible.
Okay, and we have Sister Nora from Sudan. She says, is it permissible to make dua through pious people if you feel that you're not righteous enough?
It depends. If those people are alive, then it is permissible. Once the Nabi ﷺ was invited to a feast, a dinner, and after they finished the dinner, the host's wife came up to the Prophet ﷺ and she said, Ya Rasulullah, make dua for us. So Nabi ﷺ invoked Allah for their blessings. That's permissible. The Prophet ﷺ asked Umar ibn Khattab while he was going for Hajj, he said, don't forget us from your dua, include us in your dua. So it is permissible. And the companions would go to the Prophet ﷺ because he was the most pious person, the infallible, the dearest, the most beloved to Allah. They would ask him for dua. It's permissible. But once the Prophet ﷺ died, none of the companions went up to his grave and asked him anymore, because even though he has a specific life in his grave, but he is dead according to our understanding of the meaning of life and death. He is not alive in a way that he is alive amongst us and commanded to fulfill the ibadat. No, he is alive with Allah. Similar to the martyrs as shuhada, but technically speaking, he is dead. So it is not permissible to ask him whether from a near distance, standing before his grave, or from far away. And that's why when Umar ibn Khattab, may Allah be pleased with him, was the caliph, and there was a drought. And normally the Prophet ﷺ would lead them in the prayer for seeking the rain. So he was dead, but he was in his grave next to them. So Umar ibn Khattab led the prayer, and he presented Al-Abbas, the Prophet's uncle. Then he invoked Allah and said, "Oh Allah, whenever the Prophet was alive, we used to seek the rain from you through him. But he's dead, and now we're asking you through Al-Abbas." Al-Abbas was a mean how that he would ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because he was from the family of the Prophet, he was a very righteous person, he's the Prophet's uncle. But they did not ask from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, nor from Abu Bakr as-Siddiq or any righteous person, as long as they're dead. So this is a criterion between belief and shirk. I may ask you for it and say, pray for me. Not necessarily a righteous person, ordinary people, but it is more recommended to ask from righteous people, such as in the beginning of the program I said, if you know somebody who's going for Hajj and you ask him to pray for you, it is recommended, because he's going to be in a holy place at a sacred time. That is permissible. Even if you ask youngsters, it is also recommended, because they're sinless, they're pure. As long as the person is alive, no problem, rather it is recommended. But once the person is dead, it is not permissible to ask from him, even to invoke Allah, because he is dead.
Okay, Jazakallah khair, Sheikh. We have Brother Abu Sumayra from the United Arab Emirates. Assalamu alaikum. Brother, you're live and ask their questions, please.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh.
Wa jazakum.
I just wanted to ask two questions regarding prayer.
Okay.
The first is, like when the prayer is started, if we go join the prayer, so is it necessity that we have to read Surah Fatiha?
Okay.
This is one. And second is regarding Raful Yadin.
Okay.
Yeah. So after also like when the prayer is started, let's say if we are going the second rakat.
Okay.
So after the second
yes.
After the second rakat, when we get up from the ruku, or when we get up from after reading At-Tahiyyat,
yes.
So we get up and we lift our hand.
Okay, got it.
So if we join in the middle, let's say in the third rakat, so when is it obligatory, or can you just put a light on this?
Okay. Jazakallah khair, Brother Abu Sumayra. Next we have Yusuf from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, sister. You're live and ask with your questions, please.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. My question is related to ladies going for swimming in a ladies-only center. As long as the sister, if I cover in like a proper swimming costume which covers my aura, is it permissible for me to go to a ladies-only center, given that there might be some lifeguards or other swimmers who are non-Muslim women? So what is the ruling on that?
Okay. Jazakallah khair. Sister Yusuf there from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We'll take a short break here on Ask Huda, and we'll be back right after this. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
The deeds are bound by its intentions. The deeds that we do, we have to have a sincere intentions that we're doing it only for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We have the best definitions of things, the right vision, the criteria in which we would get to know what is right and what is wrong through the Quran and the Sunnah of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The tafsir of the Quran is to explain, is to interpret the best words, the words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
to get together, but all their efforts were in vain because of ignoring or turning away from this great foundation. We see many people coming to the way of truth, following the guidance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but later on, they get off track. What is the reason behind that? Unity is a result. It's not a cover-up. We have to be united from inside. And Allah made this clear in the Quran when He said, وَأَطِيعُوا اللَّهَ وَأَطِيعُوا الرَّسُولَ.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back. You're watching Ask Huda. Just a quick reminder of our telephone numbers 0020238555 or 249. Or you can send us an email at ask@huda.tv. If we can take Brother Abu Sumaira's question from the UAE, and it's regarding prayer. He said if someone joined the prayer, he started the prayer late following the Imam, is he recommended to read Surah Fatiha?
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. If somebody came to the prayer late and joined the Imam in a state of ruku'ah, then he was able to say with comfort and at rest, Subhana Rabbiyal Azim, even once, then this unit will count as one rak'ah. So what about standing and reciting Surah Al-Fatiha? He's exempt from that, because he joined the rak'ah with the Imam in a state of ruku' with comfort. He was not rushing, and once he makes ruku', the Imam rises up. So that counts as rak'ah. And why we're very eager to answer this question? Because the other day I was praying in one of the masajid, and while we were in ruku', a person came late, and he wanted to catch the Imam in a state of ruku' in order to consider this as rak'ah, so he doesn't have to make it up. So he said, Allahu Akbar, then he went for ruku'. After we finished the prayer, he asked him about his action. I waited until he finished the prayer, and I said, how many rak'ahs you prayed? What you did right now is you said, Allahu Akbar, then you bowed down. This takbir, which takbir was it? Was it the takbir of the beginning of the prayer, or the takbir of the ruku'ah? Said the takbir of ruku'ah. I said, then your prayer is invalid, because you did not enter the prayer yet. The key to the prayer is takbiratul ihram, which will separate between regular activities and the salah, which is sacred condition. So you must stand up and say Allahu Akbar and raise both hands parallel to the earlobes or the shoulders. Allahu Akbar. Then you stand, then you make another takbir. I did not say you have to recite Surah Al-Fatiha. The Imam is already in ruku'. And you want to catch the rak'ah. So you say Allahu Akbar. Then the second takbir belongs to the ruku'. Allahu Akbar, and you go for ruku'. But you come from the door and say Allahu Akbar and you bow down. Which takbir was it? He did not enter the prayer. So I asked him to repeat the prayer. So please, everybody must understand that if you catch the Imam in ruku' or in sujood, some people when the Imam is in sujood, they know already the rak'ah is missed, so it will not count for them as a rak'ah. They wait while he's standing. Why? So that the Imam would finish the rak'ah. I don't have to make two sajdas if anyway it won't count. Wrong. The Prophet ﷺ said in the hadith, which is collected by Imam al-Bukhari, if you join the Imam at any point, pray with him, then make up whatever you missed. Make up whatever you missed. So if the Imam is in ruku' or is in sujood or in tashahhud, join him. Say Allahu Akbar, the beginning takbir, the opening takbir, then another takbir for the rukn which you are going to join the Imam in, whether ruku' or sujood, etc. But what people mostly do by ignoring the beginning takbir and they go for ruku' or sujood directly, or they wait until the Imam rises up from sujood in order to begin a new rak'ah with him, that is wrong. If the Imam recited Surah Al-Fatiha and did not give you a chance to recite, you're not obliged to recite Surah Al-Fatiha. We discussed this before repeatedly. So if the person joined the Imam Ruku', he's exempt from reciting Surah Al-Fatiha, yet the whole rak'ah, the whole unit would count as rak'ah for him.
We have Brother Abidullah from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live and ask with your questions, please.
Hello.
Yes. Go ahead, brother.
Welcome, sir. Sir, I want to ask about my sister has got khula.
Okay.
From December 13th.
Okay.
How many days should the widow must do?
How many days?
With the so next marriage.
Okay, she had a divorce on December 17th, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, December 18th.
Okay then. Okay, that's Brother Abidullah there from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. We also have from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Brother Sayyid. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live and ask Huda.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum
Alaykum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh Salah, I'm big fan of yours. May Allah bless you and Jazakallah khair.
Jazakallah khairan.
I would like to ask, I want to buy a car.
Okay.
And in the company, they say it's a Sharia compliant installment.
Okay.
And should I go for this or shouldn't I? Is it involved with interest or not? I don't know. I mean, what they are saying is it's a rental basis, and I can give the rent monthly, and at the end of the installment, they will give you the chance to buy or leave it like that.
Okay.
I mean, there is a lump sum amount of money at the end of the 4 years. You have to pay that lump sum, and then you can buy that car, or you can leave it like that. It's a rental basis, and the car will be on the company name, not my name.
Okay. Jazakallah khair, Brother Sayyid there from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And Brother Abu Sumaira's other question, he's talking about raising the hands when getting up from the second rak'ah after the tahiyyat. He's saying if someone goes in the joins the prayer in the third rak'ah, will he raise his hand after praying his second rak'ah?
We spoke about the very first takbir. We said it's a must. Now there are 4 positions in the prayer where raising the hands is recommended.
Yes.
But it is not a must. We call it sunan hay'ah. So it is not an emphatic sunnah or a mandatory act where if you don't do it, it would reduce the reward of the prayer or would affect its validity. Rather, you would be copying the Prophet exactly. Such as raising the hands while going for ruku'ah, and raising the hands once again upon making tasmi', saying Sami' Allahu liman hamida. Then the third position, which will be the fourth because we spoke about the first, which is the beginning takbir, is after reciting the middle tashahhud and going up to the third rak'ah, whether it's Maghrib or Isha or Dhuhr or Asr, third rak'ah, you raise the hands. You may do that while you are sitting and ready to get up, or while you are standing up, after you stand up already.
Okay. Next we have Brother Abdul Rahman from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum, brother. You're live on Ask Huda.
Wa alaikum assalam. How are you, Sheikh?
Alhamdulillah. How are you, sister?
Alhamdulillah. I have got 2 questions.
Okay.
My mother has a swelling on her left knee, and she is unable for her leg to perform sujood.
Okay.
She prays till ruku standing and uses a chair to do sujood. Is it okay?
Okay.
Or how should she pray in this condition?
Okay.
And the second question is, how can we make out the prohibited time of praying Fajr?
How can we?
Jazakallah khair.
Okay, Jazakallah khair there, sister, for your questions. If we can look at Brother Said's question, we'll close up our program here today because of a technical difficulty, inshallah. But inshallah, we do look forward for you next time, inshallah. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum assalam.
If my love is attached to thee, then from sins I will be free.